All right, traders, in this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk you through how to set your time frames, your bar types, your different chart types, as well as the look back periods for your trading. Now, this is important because many different traders are trading on different types of bars, whether that's a range chart, a Renko chart, a time chart. Some people are trading on day trading time frames. Some people are trading on swing trading time frames. So this video is gonna be the foundational education point for you to understand how to do that all within the Tickblaze platform. Let's get started. Now, the first thing that most people are going to notice is the top toolbar. You're going to see there's going to be a section here that is going to tell you what you're trading on. If you click it, there's going to be a drop-down menu. Now, your list when you install Tickblaze will be much more comprehensive than mine. This is a favorites list. And the reason it only has a few here is because these are the ones that I like to look at, right? Now I'm gonna teach you how to add to this, and I'm also gonna teach you how to delete from this so that you can build the layouts that you want, and you can ultimately build the custom dropdown for all the time frames and the bar types that you're trading. If you wanna add range, if you wanna add volume, if you wanna add, let's say, Heikin-Ashi, etc., you can do that through the favorite setting. Now, the second place where you can actually navigate and you can change your settings for the types of charts you're trading on, as well as the time frames, is in the right-click function under Data Series. You can also access the data series up here inside this little toolbar by clicking on Data Series. Now, you're gonna notice here that there's a bar type, a bar size, there's gonna be a bar source, and then you're also gonna see chart type, which is gonna be also up here in the top toolbar as well. Now, when you go to the top toolbar, you're gonna see that most of this are favorites settings that you save. We're gonna teach you how to save those in just a moment, but just know that you have the ability to use the toolbar for some of the easy navigations, or you can always go into the right-click menu and you can actually access those 4 sections here as well. You'll see there's a data series, which you can add and edit your settings. You can go into your bar type, which will pretty much be the top toolbar dropdown that is up here in this window. So up here where it says 60-minute, this exact same favorite is what's under the bar type settings, and this is where we're gonna go and save your favorites. The chart types is like if you wanna look at a box chart or a candlestick chart or an open, high, low, close chart, you can do that. You can ultimately see that as well up here in the drop-down menu, okay? And the last one is gonna be your look back periods. Your look backs are very important because if you're gonna be looking at small time frames like range charts and Renko charts, you're most likely gonna wanna load 1 to 5 days of data. If you're looking at larger time frames and you're looking at maybe minute charts, daily or weekly, you're gonna wanna load a much larger look back. We've pre-populated this list for you because this is pretty much the foundation for everybody, but you can also change that inside of the data series menu. When you go down here, you'll see days to load. You can always set that as well. It just depends on your preference, okay? Now, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start by essentially building out your custom drop-down menu. Why? Because it's important that you set your favorites. So let's say I wanna add volume, or let's say you wanna delete the ones that are there and you don't wanna use them first and foremost. If you go down to your bar type, you click on favorites, and you're gonna see a list. Now you're gonna see probably ticks and Heikin-Ashi and point and figure and bid ask. Just go here and highlight over whichever one you don't want and hit delete. And if you want to add them, we're going to teach you how to add them here in just a second. But the main point is that you want to get rid of all of the ones that you're not using first, and then you want to add the ones that you want to use after. Now, I've already gone and deleted all of the ones that I don't want to use. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to teach you how to add a favorite, and we're going to see that favorite appear up here in the dropdown. I'm going to drop my time frame down to say 5 days. Okay, and then I'm going to switch the data series to a volume chart. Okay, I'm going to go in here and I'm actually going to change my market to the NASDAQ for a second for this example. Okay, I'm going to switch down to 5 days of data, and I'm going to go in here to the data series. Now I'm going to change this to a volume chart. Okay, why? Because I want to save the volume categories in my dropdown, and I'm going to save this. Let's say I'm going to do a 10,000 volume chart. Okay, I'm going to leave this here to trade, okay, because it's a tick driven chart, and I'm going to leave it to candlestick. I'm not looking at special chart types for my volume settings, and I'm always going to default it to 5 days. Why? Because sometimes if you're looking at it on a weekend, you won't see charts if you only have 1 or 2 days. You want to have enough days look back to load the data from when there was actual trading activity. Now I've set the settings up here. I'm going to hit add favorites. And this is where I can actually create a favorite. Now I'm going to create a category. It's optional, you don't have to do that, but I like to create categories so that if I'm looking at minute charts or time charts or volume charts or range charts, I can separate them. So I'm going to put a volume category here, and then I'm just basically going to put 10,000, right, ticks. We can do that, or we can do 10,000 volume. Okay, like this, just so that you know what it is. I'm not really fond on adding hotkeys for these. I normally will add a hotkey for my draw tools, but not for my bar types, okay? And I'm gonna hit add, okay? And so when we go back over here, I'm gonna change this to a volume chart. It's gonna take a second to load the data. I'm gonna pause the video for a second. Now, one thing to be mindful about is that when you're loading tick data for the very first time, it'll always take a little bit longer, but once you've cached that data into your database on your computer, loading the same tick data will be very quickly. It's always on the initial load for any type of tick chart for the data to be basically populated on your computer. Now, if you take a look up here, it's got 10,000 volume, but if I drop down, now you see I've created a category and I've got 10,000 volume, okay? This is really cool because now I can, at any given time, if I ever want to load a 10,000 volume chart, I can access it here. If I want to come in here and want to go to bar type, you're going to see I have it here as well. You're going to notice under range, I've got 10 ticks, I've got 50 ticks, but what if I want to add 20 ticks, right? So let's go in here. I'm going to change this to a setting. I'm going to change this to range. I'm going to change this to 20 ticks. On tick charts, I want to use trade data, not minute, not bid ask. I want to use trade, and I'm going to load this to 5 days, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to add favorites. I'm going to create this under range. It's already a category, so I want to make sure that I name it the exact same. If it's not spelt the same, it'll create a new category. So make sure you check how it's spelt in your dropdown, and then I can put 20 ticks. Right here like this. And the point of this is ultimately I'm going to range 20 ticks and hit OK. Remember, I'm not going to add a hotkey, and I'm basically going to hit add, okay? And then I'm going to do that, and I'm going to hit OK. And it should load pretty quickly. Like I said, I've already got the tick data loaded on my computer, which is really great to know. But if I come over here and I click range, now I've got 20 ticks. And this is really cool because anytime you want to add a favorite, you can add a favorite, and you can do that as well. If I come in here and I go to bar type, you're going to see I've got range here. I've got 10, 50, and 20 ticks. I've got volume. I'm going to go and let's create another volume chart. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add 2,000 volume. So let's go down to volume, 2,000. Okay, I'm going to set it to 5 days. I'm going to add it to favorites. I'm going to go under volume, and I'm going to put this as 2,000 volume. Okay, and I'm going to hit add. And then I'm also going to add another one. I'm going to add 1,000 volume. And then I'm going to basically hit add favorites. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put volume. And I'm going to put 1,000 volume. Just like that, and hit add. And if I hit OK, let's do this. It should load the data pretty quickly because, like I said, it's already cached to my computer. If I go here to volume, now I've got 1,000, 10,000, 1,000, and 2,000 volume, right? And that's how you save your bar type settings so that you can create a custom layout like this. One thing you want to make note of is that if you do decide, let's change this over to 10,000 volume chart. Okay, look at a bit bigger time frame. If I wanted to change to, let's say, an open, high, low, close, I could do that. If I wanted to change to a box chart, I could do that, right? If I want to keep it as a candlestick, I can do that, right? One thing to pay attention to is if I go into the edit data series, right? You always want to pay close attention to the bar source. If you're adding like Heikin-Ashi, you want to make sure it's set to minute. If you're adding tick charts, volume charts, range, or Renko, you want it to be set to trade. You can set these settings in here as you see fit, but you know, we've added it to the top drop down to make it a little accessible for you. The biggest thing I want you to know is that anytime you change, let's say I want to go to a Renko chart, just always make sure you don't have a large days to load in here, because it will take a large time for you to populate on your chart, okay? So I think that's a pretty straightforward example. Let's say I want to switch this back to daily charts. I could go up to a daily chart and I can add that, right? And you know, it's pretty straightforward. If I want to drop this down to a range chart, bring this down to 50 ticks, it's going to load fairly quickly in here. It might be because I only have 1 day, so let's add it to 5 days. It's loading, there it is. If you, for whatever reason, if you ever try to load a chart and it doesn't have anything on here, it's most likely because you don't have enough look back. That's always good practice to make sure you have enough days loaded. And for whatever given reason, if you don't see data, reset your platform and you should automatically connect to data and it should cache it into memory, okay? So the last thing I want to point out is how to save your settings. Once you set up your toolbars and you have your favorites here, once you set all of your bar type favorites and you have that all set, you don't want to have to keep doing that every single time. Or if you have to do a new install and our support team tells you to basically do a clean install and remove everything from the computer, you always want to export and save your functions. And you're going to see this as a common theme across many of the different videos, is that when you export your resources, you want to go down at the bottom and you want to basically hit here, include chart type and bar type favorites. Why? Because if not, then you're going to have to recreate all those toolbars again and then go through and do that every single time. And so it's really just to speed up your process, make it a little bit faster for you. If you want to save your settings to your laptop or you want to move from one computer to another, it's just good practice to do that, right? So make sure that you always do this on an export so that you can import your resources and you will have all of those settings saved on your computer. If at any given time you have any questions on how to load your time frames, how to set your toolbars, how to go into your data series and set your settings with your bar sizes and your chart type sizes. Our team is always here to help you, and we want to make sure that you have a great experience on the platform. So let us know, and we're just a phone call or an email away. Take care, traders, and we'll see you in the next video.